My subject of today's talk is precarious balance. I'm going to show you some moments of precarious balance. This is precarious balance. This is balance. If you are balanced, you can't go forward. But after precarious balance, you can take a step and go into the balance. Today's talk for me is almost similar things, but in a very different way. For me, life has been a series of choices that one makes. What choices you make in life decides the way you live or the way you have achieved things in life. Another important thing that all the decisions which were taken by me was never about thinking what is right or wrong, but at that moment I felt right and I took decisions. All the decisions had a lot of risk and uncertainty. It was precarious. Uncertainty, taking decisions which look totally stupid, totally illogical, totally irrational, and things which nobody had ever done before. It had all the risk possibility. As a performer, as an artist, and somebody who have not chosen the path which was already taken by many people. I grew up in a business family where there was no environment of music, dance, painting, or anything. I was very flexible and very fond of dance. I used to create my own dance since I was a child. My mother took me to my first teacher, Kumudini Lakhia, who happens to be a woman and was teaching Kathak, which was the dance form. I didn't know about it, but I took the decision. I loved my teacher and I decided to learn from her. I was with her for 18 years, traveling with her all over the world. Traveling everywhere in India as a little girl and then as an adult just opened up my complete horizon of the way it was like opening all the doors for me. Even as a child, I started observing the family because I grew up in a joint family with 9 other children. And my mother, who was working so hard every day because there were 25 people in the house, I had taken a decision that my life will never be like my mother's. I will not become a housewife. Even I was a little girl, I knew I will not do what my mother is doing. So that was a very strong decision at that early age. I went to the college and I had a fractured toe. So I had to stay in the house for almost 2 months. And my father gave me a book, Ram Krishna Paramhams Kathamrut. And when I read that book and the whole spiritual journey of this wonderful person, I don't know how much I understood, but it had a very strong, very, very strong and deep influence on me. And during the same time, I came across the poetry of Mirabai. Mirabai's one sentence, which has played a it's almost like in my DNA, Suli upar sej piya ki. And that words, that her life is on the edge of a sword. So, a princess, 25-year-old in her 20s, leaves the palace, rides on a camel, goes in the desert, and this is 500 years ago. We are talking about women liberation now, but imagine in those days, a princess, beautiful princess, has left the palace and riding on a camel. So this incredibly powerful, iconic people had such deep impression on me. So there was always a search in my being that I wanted to develop my own dance form. I did not know how. I was imagining a dance form. During that time I was performing, I was becoming well known, everything blah blah blah. But there was some seed inside me which was telling me this is not enough. I came across Chhau, which was a male dance form, which was a group dance. But I decided to learn. I did not though. Whenever I took a decision to learn something or go to a wider horizon, I never did calculation. Decisions that I took had no advantages. I was an established Kathak dancer, going and learning folk dance. You know, it's like from here you are going down. People go up, I go down. And confused the people stopped giving me programs, looking at me, oh gosh, are you stupid? Everybody's calling me an idiot. But I was not concerned about that because I instinctively wanted that this is the right thing I am doing. So for me, calculation, that how much benefits I have or how much disadvantages I have, that never mattered. Second, very important thing, that money never was important when I took decisions. I chose poverty. That was another interesting thing. I left Delhi, just picked up my bag and I told my parents, look, I want to learn Chhau and Kathak, so I'm going to Delhi. During that time, I met Devisro, who happened to be a Buddhist monk from Australia who was visiting India, had lived in Himalayas in the caves and worked with Buddhist people in Dharmashala, was studying Drupad, which is a temple music form in Delhi, and we met them. I met him. He was the most poor guy you can imagine on the planet. His clothes were torn, he had no job, no degree, no money, no inheritance, and he had a broken cycle, which was somebody had thrown on the street in Delhi, which he fixed and picked it up, and our romance began on a broken cycle. So my parents and the family were petrified. You are marrying a non-Indian who is so tall, who has no degree and no money. How are you going to live your life? And I lost all my friends because I chose to be poor. All other girls will come in their car, to learn dance, and I am coming on the cycle, which is making so much noise, cut, and I'm very proud. I had no problem. It was very painful on my bum. But both of us did not know that one day, very soon, we will be working in making both of us together as our career. I will show you some pictures of the Shiv Shakti and Sari. Not this one, the other one.
You can change it.
Yeah, okay, I will use this afterward. Photographs. Yeah. These are all from the sari production. So very soon Davis Roy and I started doing the work together. The first work that we did was Vivaldi, one of the very famous composer Antonio Vivaldi's one summer. That when we performed in Delhi in Kamani Theatre, just the audience, the response of the audience was so overwhelming. It was so well received. Then I and Dave decided that people are wanting to see something different, something original. And that was the seed which we followed. One interesting thing when we do our work, that if our work is mediocre, I will never do it again. I was very sure that the work is original. I have to work so hard to create these forms. I came from a classical background, but learned classic martial dance, went on to learn Kalaripaitu, which is a martial arts, where actually when I went to the Kalari, all the boys are in their langot, and I am the only girl who is wearing clothes, and this was not done by people, not done by women. My teacher was so pleased to have me. I started learning weapon, and he was very proud of me. So a Gujarati girl who is a vegetarian had no strength in the arms to even lift those heavy sword and shield. So I made everything to suit my delicate hands. But I was so determined to learn, and I had no idea that one day this Kalaripaitu form will become my biggest resource for my work ahead. So again, no benefit when I started. There was no money in it. But I went on and started to learn and learn, not learn, just make it part of my being. To that extent, I kept on working, I'm still practicing. During this research or search, I came across aerial, a Malcolm, the aerial technique, the technique on the pole. I think that would be fantastic introduction to the army, because I realized that instead of going to the gym, my dancer should train in Indian tradition. I'm a great believer in the traditions, the resources, and the rich heritage that India has, and to create an original dynamic work which is rooted in Indian traditions. That's why I started teaching. I could not do it. I'm not strong enough to climb the rope. I was already that time, how old I was? Maybe more than 40. I have no strength in my arms. So I started getting the teachers from Maharashtra and from different parts of Gujarat to come and train my dancers. And you can see, you saw in some of the pictures, the aerial technique which we have used. We have used loop, the hoop, the circle. Now you see that in all the films all the time. That was introduced by us in 96. And when I started in 97, Sarpagati was presented, people thought I'm doing circus, and you can see some of the very, very sensuous movements that I choreographed, and my costume was langot. Because my dancers had fantastic body, and I wanted to present that when a dance is shown, and it goes with the concept and the theme, it is not just, oh, you wear langot and come on stage, but if it is necessary, it should be done that way. So I was boycotted from the dance world for many years, even till today. I'm looked at as a dancer, oh, what is she has to bring now? Something controversial again. But I kept on doing, and now, almost after 97 now, it's everybody wants to do that. So I'm very happy that through our work, we have been able to inspire a lot of young people to think differently, to take risk in life, and never all the time not make choices because it gives you money. I feel that most of the information that our mind or we have computerized in our system is actually given by others. Look at all the informations and opinions you have. Tell me how many opinions are your own. Do you come here because your parents are telling you to come, or because you want to come? Are you collecting all these degrees because you can get a good job? Then it's only about survival. Are we here just to survive? On this planet, when we have a beautiful human life, it has something beyond that. Life is not just about survival, because I think animals can survive better than us. For me, always challenging myself, taking risk, and not to be carried away by other people's opinion. It did not matter. Everybody shut me off. An idiot, stupid, this, that. It didn't bother me. In fact, it made me stronger. It worked other way. It made me so strong because I didn't care, because I was not depending on other people's opinion. My life journey was because I chose to do it, because I needed to do it, and I did not have to prove to anybody. Not a single action or work I have done is to prove anybody. I don't want to prove even to myself. I do because there is a deep need to do what I'm doing. And deep desire with utter sincerity that I'm going to finish what I have started, and I'm never afraid to fail. I've failed many times, I've made many mistakes, but I'm going to get up and do it again because I want to do only that way. Thank you.
1 second extra.